Okay, so here we are in the workshop. This is sort of a Corona episode of Sailing Centennial. And as it turns out, it's kind of a perfect gray, rainy day. Bit of a northeaster blowing through. So it's kind of the perfect gray, rainy day to be doing projects in the boat shop, including this 20-foot Old Town cedar planked canoe that's under construction or under restoration. Yeah, real beauty. But so anyway, today's the perfect day to do a little bit of block maintenance. So here's a galvanized cast iron block that came off of Centennial last season, and it had an issue where I could tell the pin was getting worn because the sheave in the block was really sloppy and the line was tending to jam in it. So first thing I did was come over here to the grinding wheel. So I got a stone on this end of the wheel, and first thing I made sure to do was I took the pulley to the wheel and ground off the rivet head on this side. So that's already been done, and that'll free up the pin so that we can knock it out of the block. So next thing to do is grab a grab a proper sized punch, and I can use the punch to knock out the pin. Just put it on the vise there. Oh, there it goes. Almost fell out. Okay, now he may be able to actually get I can get the, okay. So now you can get it, so now the pulley, the sheave is free to come out of the pulley. Looks like there's a little cobweb in there. So now you can get a glimpse of how worn the pin was that was in the pulley. So that's what's left of the pin. It's supposed to be as thick as it is out on the ends, but you can see where the sheave rides on it. It's worn it down to almost just a little thread of steel. That's what was left holding the sheave in the block, and that's why it was binding. So now I'll just take a sort of a standard 10-penny galvanized nail and go ahead and see what I can do with that. As far as putting that back into here, maybe I'll clean out that sheave while I'm at it. Just get the cobwebs out of it. Get some of the dust out of it. Some of the rust out of it. There we go. It's a little bit cleaner. And then not to gild the lily to too great of a degree, but it might be worth grabbing a little Danish oil and pressing it on there before I put the thing back together. Just to make sure that it keeps spinning freely when it's reinstalled. Yeah, I can still hear the wind blowing in the trees down by the marsh. You can actually hear a bit of the roar of the surf when it comes in the right direction. And just oil up the inside of that. Hopefully maybe prevent a little bit more rust formation over the next few seasons anyway. And then looks like I'm going to have to straighten this nail. It's been used for something previous. Yeah, it's pretty straight. Yeah, so just slide the pulley in, the sheave in, line up the holes, and it looks like it's pretty close fit with this nail, which is awesome. You want a nice, fairly tight fit. Alright, so see, that's in there. That nail's right in there, and this pulley will be good for another 40 years of use or whatever. These things just, they just refuse to die as long as you give them even the slightest bit of maintenance. They'll just keep functioning reliably for decades, if not centuries. Really no way of telling how old this particular little cast iron block is. They've been made pretty much the same for the past 150 years or so. You know, a lot of them were made locally right in the New England area. I'm sure they've been outsourced. These days it's actually tough to find these things. They don't carry them at typical hardware stores anymore. They did right up into the, late 90s maybe? Maybe when I stopped noticing them. And most of the time, so at that point I was doing a lot more modern type sailboat stuff, so I really wasn't looking for these cast iron blocks all that much anyway. But they work great on Centennial. So the last thing to do is just go ahead and make a cut in this cut off the end of the nail there, and then go ahead and with the pretty typical little ball-peened hammer, just go ahead and peen over the back side of that nail. And you know, I'm not going crazy on it. You know, it just takes a few taps to mushroom it out to enough to where the pin won't fall through. I'm just trying to kind of round it over a little bit so it won't catch on lines, it won't have a sharp edge. And then maybe I'll hit it on the wire wheel, you know, where I peened it, and the metal splayed out a little bit, just to make sure that there's no little burrs that might catch on a line or whatever. But yeah, there you go. Pretty much ready to roll. Go back on the boat and be good for the sailing season. And I guess maybe to celebrate I'll have a few little crackers. Got some pickled herring here that I've been waiting to try. Oh wow. Yeah, pickled herring and pickled onions, and then some summer sausage and cheese with horseradish mixed in with it. Yeah, it's a pretty tasty little treat too. So, yeah, just kind of making do with the coronavirus as it comes to us. Hoping everyone watching is safe and healthy and socially isolating or what have you. I guess that's about it for this video. Hopefully next time I'm uploading something, we'll be on the water.